I'm ugly.
Too chubby.
I'm too skinny.
Stretch marks.
I'm too pale.
I am not skinny,
Too
I am
tall.
petite.
I'm ugly.
I'm too
Too
skinny.
chubby.
I'm too pale.
Stretch marks.
Too chubby.
I am not stretch
I'm
mark,
ugly.
I am petite.
I'm ugly.
Too chubby.
I'm too pale.
Stretch
I'm
marks.
too
Too tall.
skinny.
I am not
I'm
skinny,
ugly.
I am
Stretch
too
marks.
skinny.
Too chubby.
I'm ugly.
Recently had an experience where I've seen somebody that I've not seen for a long while, seen them on the shopping precinct, and her first reaction was, wow, aren't you skinny? Now, I've always been this size. The only time I changed my size was whilst I was pregnant, and once I'd had my son, but that changed. I went back after a year. So I was quite shocked because I would have never said to her, wow, you've got a brown tooth in the front of your mouth, or wow, you know, you've put on weight, or wow, you look rough today. So I just find it quite rude that that's how people approach you and think it's okay to say skinny as if it's a positive thing. And it's not always a positive thing, that you don't always know what someone's desired weight is to be. So I do believe that being a black girl of darker skin, we are not represented that much, and I do believe that the media will use black people that are of a lighter complexion and maybe with more European looking hair, rather than using a dark shade lady with Afro looking hair. So I do think they cherry pick who they want in the media to portray black people.
I think the first time that I've ever had something said to me really about my body image was mainly when I started secondary school, especially in year 7 when I was starting to get to know more people, make new friends and things, and that was like a big year for me because it's such a big change from leaving primary school to now starting secondary school in this like massive new building with like all these completely new people and things like that. And at the time I was actually a competitive gymnast, and I was like training like over 24 hours a week. I was doing even more hours in the summer holidays. It was like my absolute dream to hopefully be an Olympic gymnast, and then to do that you had to be incredibly fit, like regardless. So I was always going to the gym all the time as well. At a young age, so I would have been like what, 11 or 12 at the time. And I remember, especially in PE, obviously everyone's gonna like get changed in the changing rooms and things like that. And a lot of people used to nitpick at me, especially mainly the girls, obviously, saying, "Oh yeah, you're literally so hench, and you're starting to get stretch marks already." And at first I didn't really notice. Like with my family, they would compliment me saying, "You're so strong at such a young age," and it made me feel empowered at the time. But when I had people my age saying to me that I looked like a bodybuilder and I was starting to get all of these stretch marks, I would look at myself and think, I shouldn't look like this. Should I be looking like this? I shouldn't be getting stretch marks at this age already.
So I think with Too Hairy there is a expectation for girls nowadays to look a certain way, and one of those things is being very clean shaven and looking naturally like you've got no hair, which is such a bizarre concept because hair is so natural. And it makes me feel very self-conscious when I see people online with no hair whatsoever, just because naturally, well, all girls do, it's not just me, and I know that, but it still makes me feel insecure, even though I do know there are other people that have hair like me.
So when I was at primary school, I was really skinny, and like everyone used to call me anorexic, and I say that was a twig, but some people said it was like a good thing. And now, obviously, since I've grown up, I've got a bit bigger, and then so now people say I'm fat and like I should lose the weight again, and I've gained too much weight. I have 2 sisters, and I'm always labelled as the tall one. Whenever they describe me, I'm labelled as tall and big, and some people even call me a giant, which is quite offensive to me as it's one of my main insecurities, as I always feel like I'm too tall, especially for having a relationship. Like in the media, whenever there's a taller girl than a guy, I feel like it's way more shown when the woman is way taller than the man, because I feel like that's unnatural to the media and they haven't really experienced that before, and they just think they should publish it more, which I find really horrendous, because I think it's natural for women to be tall.
Okay, so I first felt too chubby from the media probably in primary school, and that's a very
young age to have these insecurities, which is not very good. I started noticing it and how the media affects other people's opinions, since I have two sisters who are the same age as me and are the ideal body type, and I'm a bit bigger than them. And I know I'm not fat, I know I'm not anything in any way, it's just the media had such a big impact on my life, like my insecurities, especially since the media is so directly involved with the fashion industry. And me myself, I love fashion, I love expressing myself. I need to say it. I need to say
it. This is the whole point of it though, for people like you to watch it and then think, oh, I've heard it from someone else, I'm not the only one going through this. That's what you need to keep in mind. Because this is going to help other people who feel the same way you do.
Another way the media has influenced me with my insecurities is the fashion industry. And for example, when I go into shops that all of my friends love and they all get clothes from, such as Topshop, and everyone's like, oh, the jeans are amazing there, like you'll fit into them, like you'll get them, like nobody even questions whether or not they'll fit you, or they're just like, oh, they're amazing, good quality, like they last forever, and like they're good for their price because they're quite expensive. But when I've been in there multiple times with like my sisters, and like I've tried on multiple pairs of jeans, they just don't fit me, and it makes me feel like I'm too chubby and I'm too fat, like that my body type isn't normal and it isn't accepted.
When I was in secondary school, I had a lot of issues with my body, but most prominently with my skin and how pale I was. It was seen as something like an illness. People would think that I was ill. People would look at me, look at my skin, look at me as think I'm skinny. They would think I was sort of disgusting. They would look at me as I was a little girl. It wasn't really accepted. I was okay with my skin, but nobody else was actually okay with how I looked and how pale I was. And it affected me really badly because I looked different to all of the other girls at my school. I looked different to the popular girls. I wasn't what made somebody popular, and I always felt like I was an outcast.
I've always been told from school that I'm ugly. I've always been kind of left out from the crowd because I've never really fit in with the typical like big old stereotype of how a girl should look, with all the long hair and the perfect makeup, and I just kind of stood out being different because I didn't look that way.
And I tried so hard to make myself look different. I tried tanning, I tried using fake tan. I was too young to ever use tanning beds, but I was always trying to make myself look more like them. I even tried to make myself sort of grow taller, even though that was impossible. I tried to just change my image to suit what the other girls looked like, just because I wanted to be accepted.
And it's just really bad when you feel that way, when you feel that every morning you have to be forced to stare at yourself in the mirror and you really hate the reflection that's staring back at you because of what you've been told or what you've seen people say on the internet about yourself.
It never really worked, and I never was accepted into what they thought was the norm, and that impacted my confidence a lot, because I see it a lot in the media too. I see it's affecting me a lot, because then as time went on, I was being called ugly, I was being called skinny and disgusting, I was being victimised, I was being isolated, I wasn't popular at all, and I had very little friends who understood me and who liked me. And that kind of bullying, that kind of negative attention, it makes you feel like you don't deserve anything in your life. Literally, they kind of made me feel like it wasn't just how I look, it wasn't just taking the piss out of me how I look. They wanted me to feel like, they wanted me to hate myself. They wanted me to feel like I don't deserve anything. They just wanted, it's like they had such a problem with how I looked and who I was, that they actually wanted me to hate myself so much so that I would change myself when I can't change myself. I just don't understand how somebody, a group of people, can just hate me, hate who I am, dislike me and detest me so much just because of how I look. I literally don't understand, because I was such a nice person. I was always polite to people. I always wanted to make friends. I never did anything to them, to hurt them, to deliberately abuse them. I never did anything to try to I never tried to be malicious. I just wanted people to like me, and I was so nice to people. But how can somebody detest me just for how I look when they don't know anything about me? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think with the media at the minute, especially social media, it's affecting young girls a lot, and boys actually, because of the way it portrays this perfect image, and it's unattainable. You know, it's so unhealthy as well to have these images in our phones every day. And I think if we start to see different bodies, different people on our social media, then it will affect positive change, because everyone will be like, yeah, that's fine, you know, I can look like me and not be embarrassed by it. And if we start to realise that these bodies that we see online aren't, you know, just what we have to look like, then I think a lot of positive change can come from that.
I just think that everyone should be kinder to each other, be more confident, and we should boost people up rather than putting them down, and we should praise everyone and celebrate everybody's differences rather than pulling them apart and picking on them. It doesn't get you anywhere.
In terms of the media, it's nice to show all these different body images, especially girls that are looking after themselves and are being fit, even though it's not them being skinny, but probably, obviously not being mean. You have like your larger girls, but they show them that they're confident, show them that they're appreciative of themselves, even the ones that are muscly, that are like, everyone looks after themselves, but those that go to the gym, things like that. It's important to show all of these different types of people, because not everybody, it's physically impossible for everyone to be all really skinny and not have anything wrong with their bodies at all.
People in the media just really need to accept that there's not just one body type, and I know I've said this multiple times, but it's just, I don't know how they're not changing it, how they're not accepting it yet. And how we need to change it is have models or people just in general, like on the media, like on TV, like presenters or actresses, who just, more of them who are more diverse, not just in like ethnicity or sexuality, like they're doing better than that nowadays, but also body types. Like representation affects so many people, especially in the media. Like,
If people don't like how you look, and if people don't think you're attractive, then you're worth fuck all, because all that matters is how people see you. And I see this shit constantly on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on the news, on all these bullshit beauty guru blog websites and articles. It's such bullshit, and I want to say it again and again, and I just want to scream it from the bloody rooftops. It doesn't matter how people see you, because that's not your self-worth. If you're not in a relationship, that doesn't matter. If people don't think you're attractive, that doesn't matter, because if you think you're attractive and you like yourself and you think and you're happy with the body and the skin you're in, that's all that matters. Don't give a shit what anybody else says. Don't give a shit of the constant pressure of the media, because everyone knows the media's bullshit. Everybody sees it all the time. Everyone sees the images of the models who have been photoshopped to look skinny and to look tanned and to look beautiful with tiny waists and massive boobs and a massive arse, when everyone knows it's bullshit. Everyone knows how hypocritical the media is. Everyone knows it's now on one side they're telling you to love yourself, on another side they're telling you you're too fat and you need to lose weight. On one side they're telling you you shouldn't care what people think. On another side, they're telling you you should care what people think, and telling you how you need to dress and how you need to look, which is exactly about caring what people think. It's such bullshit, and you shouldn't buy into it. And I'm sick of seeing its prominence everywhere on social media. I'm sick of it.